Hello and welcome to Dr. Shiny Tarot. This is a reading for Taurus in December. So let's see what's going on in our Taurus lives. Okay. Uh-huh. Yep. All right, lots of wands, couple swords, not so much cups here. So, what we have for your current situation, we have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a lot of times this situation where you're kind of needing to get others behind you. You need to pull them together. You need to be a little bit of a leader. Or you have to kind of get people on the same page to get people to come around to your way of thinking a little bit. But it's often something that occurs through action. It's not necessarily something that you're going to be able to just talk through or something like that. You're going to have to demonstrate a sort of, let's say, self-confidence, an infectious self-confidence that inspires others to come behind you. So this is a little bit of a challenge sometimes for people to kind of rise up and display this confidence and not really, you're not necessarily full of yourself or sure of yourself. So the idea here is that confidence is totally the key, and that you're going to have to absolutely project and display that self-confidence to get through this, and that's really what's going to be the most important part. And yes, you want to be able to back up that confidence, but I kind of get the idea that you can. That's not the part of it that's the problem. It's more of just kind of displaying that confidence or maintaining a mindset of confidence rather than preparing to be confident, if you get what I'm saying, or feeling unprepared. It's not about that. It's about just sort of projecting this calmness. So what's crossing you is this Five of Pentacles. This is a situation where it's like you kind of need some help, but you feel a little bit helpless. You feel like there is it's kind of like a poor person or a beggar who doesn't really see that there is the answers to all of his problems are right there, like being offered to him. So he's not seeking it. He's not looking for that. He's kind of looking. He's more like woe is me and kind of depressed, despondent, that kind of thing. So the idea here is to just check out that there's a key right there and it unlocks the door of all your problems. And so somebody around you is like offering a helping hand or trying to reach out to you. So the dynamic that I'm getting here is with this, you could feel like a little bit too proud to take help, but taking help is definitely something that a leader has to do. Not only is it a good idea, but you have to. You can't do it by yourself. So part of being a strong leader is learning to rely on the help of others, learning to rely on even just the good faith of others to help you get through it. And if you're supposed to be leading that person, they want to have a contribution. They want to feel as though they're helping you. So don't get too concerned with feeling like you have to be the go-to person, the knowledgeable person. Delegate some of that out, ask for help, and it will actually cause people to respect you even more because you're setting boundaries and you're delegating, and that's something people really look for, is the ability to delegate, it's a character flaw not to be able to feel like I have to do everything myself, and I should be able to juggle all these balls myself. That is a little bit of, it represents a character flaw to anybody who really is looking for something, special to invest in, or, a boss looking to promote somebody. They really want to know that you can handle that. So what you're moving away from is the devil in the reverse. And this is sort of being kind of bogged down by your desires, or feeling like feeling trapped by, or not necessarily feeling trapped, because a lot of times you aren't even aware of what's going on, but you are trapped by the things that you want, the things that you're after. So, this is to ask you to set back a little bit and to, well, I mean, you're moving away from this, so it's not really asking anything. You've already done a good job here, but you have to sit back and realize what's important in life and not just like go too crazy in any one particular direction. And I think that the situation that you're in right now is sort of like the resolution of getting over this. So you do realize that some more things are important, but you're taking on this new role and you feel probably a little too strongly about what this new role entails. And you should kind of, loosen the reins a little bit and allow for some input, allow for some people to guide you. There are forces at work around you which are interested in your success, and they do want to help you, and they have some good input. It's not necessary to go it alone. But moving on from this type of energy is very healthy for you. Instead of just solely wondering or worrying about what you want and need, you are now in a place where you're more concerned about what life is about and living in a world that you enjoy rather than just sort of eking some kind of a meager existence by. All right. So what you're moving toward is the King of Wands, which is a doer, a real go-getter, somebody who is reliable. He's the one who absolutely gets the things done, and this is the energy you're moving toward. So it's I can see that that's probably where you want to be right now with the Seven of Wands, but there's still a little bit that has to be done. So it's about knowing your limitations personally, about knowing the things that you don't know, and or knowing what you don't know. We'll put it that way. So if you can know what you don't know, then you can kind of seek out some sort of an expert to teach you, or you can, move forward more efficiently. And those types of obstacles no longer are really obstacles. It's just part of the process where, okay, I got to go learn this, or I got to go figure that out. You don't look at them as walls so much as you look at them as opportunities. And so that's kind of where you're at right now, where you're moving toward this energy. But, this kind of failure to ask for help or to feel like you have to do it all on your own is what's kind of holding you back from that. So the foundation of the situation is this Four of Swords, which means that you're not resting enough. You're not kind of devoting enough time to resting your mind, or you're a little too stressed out. And so this, this is definitely a message that you have to kind of like, you've got to switch up the shifts somewhat. You've got to rely on some other people to do some things, and it's not going to hurt you in the long run to allow somebody else to take some of the spotlight or to look good. It's going to help you because people are not only concerned with your personal performance, they're concerned on how do you develop and motivate those around you. And so being able to do this, being able to rest a little bit, to sort of compartmentalize what's going on in your life and to kind of get back to a work-life balance, that kind of thing, it's going to be very important in your overall development. What we have for your crowning thoughts is the Three of Wands. So this is a kind of a not wanting to start off on something, or a new type of action. So the Three of Wands is not. It comes up a lot here recently, and I think that a lot of people have this desire to do these things, but they feel trapped or like they can't make some kind of move, they can't develop, they can't move forward. And so this may be what you're feeling, that like there's a problem, something you can't learn, something that you're not able to start off on. But you are able to, and the small little baby step that's necessary for you is going to be to just kind of reach out to somebody and ask, if not to ask for lessons, to ask somebody like, how do you learn this? Where do you go for these resources? Where do I need to look to figure out how to do this, or to increase your skill set, So, your advice for the current situation is this death card in the reverse. I like how this one also puts rebirth on there, because a lot of people get afraid of the death card. They feel like it might be some kind of a negative omen or something like that, but it's really not. It's really more of, it's one of the more positive cards in the deck. It's about sort of rising from the ashes and taking a new direction. So more specifically than like a physical death, I reckon it can possibly point to those types of events, but very, very rarely does it. Almost all the time, what it points to is having to like let go of a particular mindset and adopt a new way of life or a new mindset. And that feels a little bit like death if you really do it right, because it's like you're leaving an old you behind, you're letting an old you die, and a new you carries forward and is reborn. And it doesn't really feel the same as it did before. It's kind of one of those situations where everything really is the same, but nothing really feels the same. So the advice here is that you're being a little resistant to that. You are trying to move into this new phase of your life with the sort of old mindset and the old ideas. And so what you're really going to have to do is take on a new mindset, take on a greater, grander picture, which is that it's no longer your role to be that go-to person who is able to do everything by yourself. Now you're getting to a point where you're going to have to rely on others a little bit more, and you're going to have to adopt this mindset of, instead of like, I don't trust anyone except for myself, you're going to have to sort of figure out where you can afford to take risks in trusting other people. And, there are some lessons that come along with that, but it's, I think, important not to just shut down completely whenever one of those hardships arises, because they do arise, but it's more about just figuring out, okay, where am I going to put my trust, or, of these options, what's feeling like the best option among them. So, like, it may be that you need to get a babysitter, so it's going to be put a lot of effort into figuring out which babysitter to trust, instead of just feeling like I can't trust anybody but myself. I don't even like the idea of a babysitter. The idea is, well, obviously some babysitters are more trustworthy than others, so it's time to figure out how you're going to make those judgments, how you're going to select and delegate these options. You may not even have kids, so that might not be applicable to everybody, but the idea is generally to figure out how you go about vetting people, or figuring out who's going to be trustworthy, that type of issue. So that's a new type of mindset. And what you have for your current environment is the Six of Wands, which immediately precedes this Seven of Wands. So there are all around you, and it's kind of interesting because you got the 6 here, the 7 here, the 8 there, and then you also have the 3 over here. So the 6 is a little bit more of like a victorious, she's got her arms up here in like a V shape, which to me means victory. This is an accomplished person, somebody who's got skills, and there's spotlights in there. So I mentioned earlier that you're going to have to share the spotlight a little bit. So there are some people who want to look successful, who want to look like they're doing a good job. They feel this need. They are in the place that you came from. So remember that aspect of yourself. Remember how it was when you were wanting that, and remember how it felt really good for you to get those chances, for you, and how much that can really draw a person's admiration or appreciation towards you. So I think that it's kind of a beneficial thing that where these people are coming from, how they feel and what they want, and you have an opportunity to use that experience to sort of connect with them in an interpersonal way, which can gain trust mutually between you both, right? So Your fears card is the Eight of Wands, and it's in the reverse. So the Eight of Wands is like a card of like, well, something is happening, and it's kind of vague. It's intentionally vague because it's like you don't really know what's going on, but something is happening, and there's a constant motion, a very abrupt motion, that just almost comes out of nowhere, and it's like a whirlwind, you know. So it's never a dull moment, that kind of idea. So in the reverse, it's like you're afraid that things are not going to happen, that things are not going to progress, that you're not going to get the news that you want, or, just in general, that things are kind of stagnant. And so I think that what you really need to hone in on here is that it's okay for there to be some periods where things get a little bit stagnant, because it feels like you're going to need some rest so that you can move on to bigger projects, bigger responsibilities, and things like that. So kind of take that rest, take that opportunity for like a lull. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of nothing going on. Learn how to utilize that to your benefit too, because it's very important for everybody to take some time to just do nothing. And so use your ability to delegate, to do a little bit of nothing, and to kind of enjoy that and take some rest, because what's happening is you are given an opportunity to sort of consolidate some energy, because there's something bigger coming up for you, and you need to be able to sort of get some of that. You need to defragment and keep some of that from bogging you down in order for you to rise up and do something else, something grander, you know? So your overall message, or where you're headed more in the long run here, is the Ace of Swords. And this is, again, a completely new mindset. This is a person who, she was thinking about things one way, and then all of a sudden there's this almost eureka moment, and there is a completely new way of thinking, of a new mindset, a new way of approaching the situation, or a new way of thinking about the situation, really, more than approaching it. So it's not so much about action, it's just like seeing things in a completely different way. So again, it's asking you to sort of like back up out of this mindset that you just got out of. Don't allow that to, even though it was instrumental in your success to be that way, the role that you're in now requires something different of you. So don't be afraid to sort of not give up, but to leave behind the old and take on the new, and to figure out what these new challenges are kind of requiring of you. What is the goal? What's being asked of you? That's what you really want to focus on. What is it that you need to do to be successful now in this sort of new position that you've come into, right? So I think that was a great reading. I will periodically be posting different videos throughout the month of new moon readings and full moon readings and pick a cards and things like that. So if you liked the reading, please check out some of my other ones, or like and subscribe. Leave me a comment to let me know what you think. And until next time, this has been Dr. Shiny for my Taurus friends, and I'll see you next time.